welcome you to St. Petersburg, Florida on a lovely Saturday afternoon turned evening as Tropicana Field will be the host tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays against the Houston Astros. Game 2 of this 3-game series, Game 2 of a 6-game road trip. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Astros Baseball. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. And Blummer, so far so good for the Astros on the road after losing that very first game in the Seattle Mariners home opener. They've won the rest of them.
They've done a good job, and it's nice to start this road trip out here in Tampa Bay by actually scoring some runs here at the Trop. It's a good sign.
Yeah, when you look at the breakdown for the Astros this year, if you have to be nitpicky, maybe facing a left-hander, not their best start to the season.
Yeah, that's where the issues have come in. Since April 11th, you see the numbers against left-handed starters. 5 for 27 is not a good number to have up there. What's interesting to me is if you really get into the numbers and dig on some guys, Altuve, Gurriel, and Correa, all right-handed hitters, are hitting a combined 183, 0 extra base hits, and only 1 RBI between those guys. So I'd like to see those guys light it up. We are on the road where they do have good numbers, but they need to start putting it to some of these left-handers.
Yeah, that's kind of a remarkable stat for those three not to have an extra base hit against the left-handed starter or reliever. You can see the numbers this year with the splits, lefty-righty. A lot of those numbers are down, too, against lefties because Sean Manaea threw 5 innings of no-hit base, 6 innings of no-hit baseball against
Yeah,
them.
and you do have to take into account who they are facing. Remember, James Paxton is in there twice, too, in some of those starts. But you expect these guys to have some better ABs against Blake Snell tonight. It's going to be interesting to see if they can be aggressive on that fastball because Blake pretty much telegraphed that he's going to be aggressive early with the heater.
All righties, including a couple of switch hitters tonight in the lineup for the Houston Astros against the lefty Snell. How about this? Julian Morales goes to the top of the Trop. We'll check that out right around the corner.
Sports, we're getting you ready for Game 2 of this 3-game series. Astros getting a big win at Tropicana Field last night, a place that's been tough for them to score runs and get wins, but they get it done. They'll look for a series win today. A very unique stadium, Tropicana Field, because of the catwalks. I am on one right now. These 4 catwalks hang from the ceiling. They support the structure, they support the lighting and the speaker system as well. They're lower in the outfield due to the tilted dome. They range between between 59 feet and 194 feet above field level. Right now, we're 170 feet above field level on the B ring. I'm going to give you a look right now at where home plate is. If you can see that down there, that little white dot, that's home plate. What a view, right? The A and B ring, everything's in play there. If you hit it off a ring and it falls in for a hit, or if it's caught, it's an out. C and D rings, though, if you hit one in fair territory, it's a home run. George Springer has some experience with that back in 2014. If you remember, he crushed one off David Price, one of his first home runs in the major, a very memorable one for sure. Really cool views up here, right? There's going to be a little bit more that we have on these catwalks later in the broadcast, but first pitch is coming up, so we're going to get you set. Stay right there.
Taste the Jumbolicious Jumbo Meal before it's gone, only at Jack in the Box. And by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Carlos Correa before the game signing a few autographs here at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. Getting ready for a little Saturday evening baseball 1 hour earlier than yesterday as A.J. Hinch looks on his team off to quite a start, especially on the road where they are 5-1 on the year, coming in with more wins than any team in baseball, a record of 12-5 for the Houston Astros. And here's how they will line up, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Here's the starting lineup for Houston. George Springer will lead things off, followed by Carlos Beltran in the number 2 spot for the second time this year. Last time he was in the 2 spot, he hit a home run in his first AB. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Evan Gattis behind the plate hitting 5th. Alex Bregman at third base. Yuli Gurriel has been red hot, now has the highest batting average of the team. Marwin Gonzalez and Jake Marisnick rounds out your Astros lineup.
Blake Snell going for the Tampa Bay Rays, left-handed pitcher, 0-2 on the season. Check out his K to walk split right there. He has 11 strikeouts, 10 walks in 16 1/3 innings. That'll be the interesting part and the tough part for these Houston Astros, to be selective inside the zone. We heard yesterday that Blake Snell has commented that he wants to be aggressive in the zone with his fastball. So expect the Astros to be looking for that heater early on because they want to stay away from that good changeup that Snell does have.
Snell in his second major league season will face George Springer to start this game. Springer's a guy, if you find a pitcher aggressive in the strike zone, who doesn't mind that because he can ambush with the best of them.
Absolutely. You got to be careful. If you're going to be aggressive, you better be aggressive on the edges, because if you leave it out over the plate somewhere where George can get extended, watch out.
George has 4 leadoff home runs this year. Nobody else has more than 2. And he's also hit 2 of the first pitches of the game that he's seen out. He takes this one away for ball 1. We're underway from Tropicana Field on a Saturday night. Glad he could join us. Todd Kalas alongside Jeff Blum and Julia Morales. Julia's already been to the very top of this building and back. We'll have that during the course of the broadcast as she was patrolling the catwalks today. Catwalks at Tropicana Field a little different than New York's Fashion Week.
Yeah.
These are a little scarier.
Just a little bit. Yeah, it doesn't look like those things are built for fashion.
2-0 the count. So Snell behind right out of the gates against George Springer. And George rips one foul past the bag and also past third base coach Gary Pettis.
That's where Julia was earlier in the day, adjusting that camera for us so we can get that shot right there.
Appreciate it, Julia.
It's good work.
On camera, technician when necessary, whatever we need for the broadcast.
Technically a sideline reporter, but now can we add catwalk reporter? There we go.
Yeah.
Multi-talented, versatility.
3-1 to George Springer. This is a pitch George might really be able to launch on.
I think you're calling it.
He's done it already this year a few times. Got the changeup at 3-1 and went to a knee.
Well, that 2-0 count, George did get the fastball and smoked it down the left field line. Foul. Might have changed the mind of Blake Snell to throw the changeup in the 3-1 count.
Snell's almost exclusively fastball changeup when behind in the count. You see his overall usage this year. Changeup's been a good pitch for him. Doubled up on it, fouled away, 3-2.
George took a good swing at it too.
We talked about it on the recent homestand, Blummer. This is a team, the Houston Astros, that hunt fastballs and usually hit even high velocity fastballs.
Yeah, they like hitting that fastball over the 93-mile-an-hour range. Heard the Angels talking about it in their scouting reports. They know that if they have a wrinkle they can throw up there, they're going to bring it.
There's a high fastball that he gets Springer. So Snell starts the game with a strikeout of the Astros leadoff hitter.
High cheese from Blake Snell to get the strikeout on George Springer. Again, we're talking about staying in the zone. Check out our MD Anderson strike zone right at the top of it. Keep in mind, too, you've got a couple of pitchers going today that have some high walk numbers. Charlie Morton has 6 on the season, and he has a lot of movement. C.B. Buckner's behind home plate. Just saying.
Breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1.
We've seen in the past, you got to be ready to swing with CB back there.
See how that strike zone plays tonight. Bucknor behind the plate. Manny Gonzalez, Field and Colbert, the crew chief. Mark Carlson, the rest of your umpiring crew. Beltran said the first time he hit second, he was really happy to be in front of guys like Jose Altuve and Carlos Correa. And he proved that by hitting a home run that came at Minute Maid Park against Matt Shoemaker. Now he's hitting second as a right-hand hitter against the lefty Snell. AJ was asked about that before the game, AJ Hinch, and he said, you know, I'm not a guy that usually has the same lineup. And Bregman had been the 2-hitter against lefties, but today he likes Carlos Beltran in there. And Beltran sends one to left. Back goes Peterson to the track, to the wall. It is caught against the wall. Peterson reached up at the last second and made the play, and it's a smile from his starting pitcher, Blake Snell.
Tell you what, that first, watching Peterson go after that ball, I'm not sure he took a great route to get to it. Eventually got to the wall to make the catch, but off the bat, he ran into the gap and then had to charge back towards the wall because Carlos Beltran put a charge into that pitch. This would be a good view, and I watched Peterson come across, then has to bolt back towards the wall. Looks like he just threw the glove up there and it went in.
Yeah, it was a late adjustment.
Yeah.
And here's Jose Altuve. Thinking about a bunt, takes a pitch above his head. It's 1-0. see Altuve's numbers this year on the road, second in Major League Baseball. Nothing unusual to see Altuve with great numbers on the road, and the Rays are implementing the full shift again tonight, and that worked against them with Altuve hitting in yesterday's game.
Altuve, for me, just has too much bat control to be doing this. And the interesting thing for me, if you're going to see them shift on Altuve, you would assume that they would pitch him in to make him pull the ball. Because if Altuve is good enough, if you give him something on the outside corner, he's going to go with it. He's not going to get greedy. He loves getting hits.
He doesn't mind being on first base with 2 outs with Correa behind him. And he sends this one to left field. Peterson is there. Blake Snell has a 1-2-3 inning to start this game. Sent out there by Kevin Cash. Corey Dickerson will lead things off as the DH. Kevin Kiermaier in center field. Evan Longoria hit his first home run since the first week of April. Brad Miller, Steven Souza Jr., Logan Morrison, Derek Norris, Shane Peterson, and Tim Beckham round out your Tampa Bay lineup.
And you're going to get a good look at right-hander Charlie Morton going for these Houston Astros. 3 starts this season. He's got a 1-run record. That ERA under 3, which is nice. The walks are a little concerning, but he has good sink. A lot of movement on those pitches, trying to get him back in the zone. Look for him to try and keep that ball down, use that defense behind him. He has faced the Tampa Bay Rays once. It was right here. He actually took the loss, and he went 7 innings strong, only giving up 2 earned runs.
Well, Morton delivers a fastball to Dickerson to start his outing, and it misses a little bit inside. Corey's one of those guys that has seen Charlie a bit, as you see to the right side of his season numbers. 4 for 9 during his time with the Colorado Rockies, including a home run against the 33-year-old right-hander. Sends one in the air to center field. Jake Marisnick plays out there tonight and makes the play for the first out. Tigers, shouldn't jinx this, but the Tigers had a lot of issues as a visiting team here at Tropicana Field with fly balls and line drives, but so far so good for the Astros outfielders in this series.
You see the average by season against left-handed hitters for Charlie Morton on the bottom, getting better in 2017. Interesting too is his velocity's gone up in those last couple years too.
Not just by a mile an hour. I mean by 3 and 4 miles an hour from a couple of years ago. Last year they saw a jump up when he was with the Phillies and made 4 starts as Kiermaier takes a strike, 0-1. But it's been remarkable to see him at age 32 and 33 throw the ball harder than he did at any point in his career. And Morton ahead 0-2.
Yeah, that's a guy that took full advantage of the injury. Doesn't sound good, but he had that hamstring injury last year. Basically spent all season rehabbing that, but developed velocity, and that's what Todd's talking about. 92 to 95.
And a 3-pitch strikeout of Kevin Kiermaier. So Kiermaier is retired on 3 pitches, 2 quick outs for Charlie Morton.
And that's why you want to see a pitcher like Charlie Morton get ahead early, because he can go to that breaking ball and get the put away for the strikeout. That was nicely done. Good sequence. Aggressive with the heater. Take a look at that release point on the breaking ball on our Mattress Firm Supermo. Get a good look at how that ball comes out of the hand and the good rotation it creates.
So base is empty for Evan Longoria. He swings to the first pitch and grounds one to third. Alex Bregman with the play, a 6-pitch first inning. How about that for Charlie Morton? Scoreless after 1.
Watch your Astros take on top AL teams while enjoying exciting promotions like Big and Bright Friday nights, Keuchel's Corner, and the brand new Strozone. Visit Astros.com for more info or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Welcome back inside the Trop, still up in the catwalks right now, checking it out. And Todd Kalas, thank goodness we know Todd. I've been trying to get up here for years, but apparently you have to know somebody, and my somebody was Todd. He got me up here. He also told me he'd never been up this high to the A-ring. This is where I am, 190 feet up, Todd, just above second base. You told me it was hot. You told me it was shaky. You were right on both ends, too. But what do you got on this?
Yeah, don't shake that thing too much. Oh, my goodness.
That is up there. Impressive. Intrepid reporting by Julia.
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
I don't mind heights. I don't mind scary rides. I didn't like going up to the A-ring, so I got to tip my cap to Julia for going all the way.
I hate heights. I was looking at some of her video and some of the pictures that she was showing me, and I was just like, forget that. I was getting the chills just looking at the pictures on camera.
1-1 to Carlos Correa to start the second inning. The thing that bothers me, and I think she alluded to that, is it's not a stable platform. It's a little bit shaky, and the higher up you go, obviously, the more damage you can do to yourself if things don't go well.
That's a happy thought.
So I did not go to the A-ring. I tip my cap to Julia for going all the way up there. 190 feet above the playing surface. 19 stories to you and me.
Man.
Good for her. Good job, Julia.
Yeah, mark that off the list of things done.
2-1 to count to Carlos Correa. Carlos trying to snap it 0 for 14. And he sends one high in the air to left center field. Both Kiermaier and Peterson converge. It is Peterson, the left fielder, who makes the play.
A lot of action for Peterson so far, dealing with those catwalks and this off-white colored grayish looking roof.
You played here?
Yep, I did. I got to play some outfield here actually too. That was adventurous.
This time of night, not a great time, right, for fly
yeah,
balls?
that dusk is a little sketchy. Tomorrow's day game is going to be, it's going to be brighter. But the color of the roof right now, and the reason Todd is saying that, because the baseballs are rubbed up. So they've got a little bit of that, that mud rubbed into them, so they kind of blend in with the look of the roof right now.
You will see that roof later in the game. shift colors a little bit. Right now it's a little tougher for the outfielders and infielders on pop-ups. Evan Gattis, the batter, getting a chance to catch today. Evan's numbers last year were tremendously different and much better when he caught than when he was at DH. This year they flipped a little bit, kind of small sample size. Ball hit in the air at deep right center field. Souza back to the track, and he watches this one go. Gattis' first home run of 2017 to right center field, and the Astros take a 1-0 lead.
Oh my goodness. There's some serious angst put behind that swing on that poor baseball. Evan Gattis in batting practice will try and drive the ball out of the ballpark to the right side of the field, and this pitch is right in the wheelhouse of what Evan Gattis wants to do. That ball was smoked. That was a beautiful thing too. Getting well out of here in right center field.
19 of his 32 home runs last year came when he was catching, and he caught fewer games than he DH'd. His first home run of this year is as a starting catcher, as Alex Bregman takes one up high for a ball, 1-0. Gattis didn't come far from that Rays tank out there, which I think, including postseason, has been hit less than 5 times in a game.
Gosh, that ball was crushed.
1-0 pitch is a called strike. It's 1-1. Blake Snell, only the second home run allowed this year. Over his career, he has not allowed many home runs. That was only the 7th in his second season.
He's given up a home run to this man at the plate. 2-run jack last year for Alex Bregman against Blake Snell.
Snell did not fare well in that start against the Houston Astros. Pitch down low for a ball. It's 3-1.
There's a look back at it. Tried to get in the kitchen of the young man. Pulled the hands in nicely and deposited it right into the Crawford boxes. I'd like to see him do that again.
That was a 2-run home run in the 3rd inning. 3-1 pitch misses. So Bregman draws a walk after the home run allowed to Evan Gattis. Snell left that game against the Astros on August 27th after Marwin Gonzalez hit a comebacker that hit him on the lower left leg. A little bruise that left the game. Marwin due up next. Here's Yuli Gurriel. Look at that average, and look at that 12 for 23 number. All of a sudden,
you look at it, Todd.
all of a sudden he's got the best average on the team.
Been raking here of late.
And Julia talked about it last night, and Yuli commented on it. It seems like staying in the zone's been the key.
Getting back to who he is, and who he is a guy who rips the ball up the middle, goes to that opposite field gap. He likes hitting the fastball, but when he's keyed on the fastball, he hits mistake off speed up in the zone like we saw yesterday.
There's a chase, but for the most part, he has not been leaving the strike zone.
Yes.
In the recent stretch. I think early he was swinging, especially first pitches, whether they were on the plate or just off the plate.
Yeah, he was chasing early and often.
Now he has a count of 1-1. Does not go after that one. It's 2 balls and a strike. Snell has not had a lot of defensive support behind him in the last 2 starts. That's why he has an ERA of 2.76, but his team is 0-3 in his 3 starts. He gave up 3 unearned runs last start, 2 the start before. So 5 of his last 6 runs allowed have been unearned. And yesterday, even though they weren't errors all the time, extra outs allowed the Astros to win that game. And 2.
Yeah, you just can't give an opposing team like the Houston Astros, with the depth they have in their lineup, too many more opportunities. Not only does your pitch count go up, you've got to be finer And it messes with the head of the pitcher. If they're not playing defense behind him, he feels like he's got to punch everybody out. Tries to be a little more fine, maybe leave the pitch up out of the plate, and it gets hit.
3-2 on the ground towards short. Could be two. Beckham to Miller, and the return in time for the double play. But Gurriel grounds into a double play, but Evan Gattis gives the Astros the early lead.
Ball was crushed off the bat of Evan Gattis. Getting the lumber on it, driving it deep into that right center field gap. That was beautifully done.
On that.
Much to the delight of Julia Morales.
St. Petersburg, Florida, as Brad Miller will lead things off against Charlie Morton here, with the Astros leading 1-0. He swings at the first pitch and grounds one to Altuve. Charlie Morton has 4 outs on 7 pitches.
Keep it up. I like it. That is a trend going in the right direction. But that tells you that he's throwing strikes. And we know that the Tampa Bay Rays, they swing a lot. Sometimes they swing and miss, but they swing a lot. And if Charlie's going to be in the zone with that heavy 95-mile-an-hour sinker, it could pay off for him.
The Rays, the most aggressive team in baseball by far in swing percentage. And Morton right now has that zone figured out, and the stuff has been moving. That's why he has 4 outs on 7 pitches. Here's Steven Souza Jr. He's off to a nice start this year. Thinks about a bunt, takes a pitch away. Souza Jr. batting .343.
There you go, the first 3 innings for Kevin Cash and his offense. They need to score early. If they don't, it's a long night.
There's a strike, 1-1. A little bit low for a ball. It's 2-1. Jr. with 23 base hits. That's tied for first in the American League, along with Starlin Castro of the Yankees. Also a team leading 15 home runs. Swings through that fastball, 2-2.
And that's an interesting pitch for me and Charlie Morton. He is a sinker ball guy, but we know in the past Brent Strom is a guy who wants guys to throw up in the zone. He thinks it is a good place to go. Hitters don't normally look for pitches up there. You can take advantage of this new strike zone that is a little bit higher, but at the same time, changing the eye level is a good thing for Brent Strom and his pitchers, because then they can challenge the southern part of the strike zone and get some swing and misses.
And he gets a swing and a miss there. Charlie Morton has retired the first 5 batters. Brent Strom taking notes, saying this is as good as we've seen him.
Yeah. He wrote a note to himself, save the tape, because this is what you want to see. This is textbook. I mean, that's a good pitch in the strike zone. And again, sinker ballers sometimes have a tough time commanding that fastball in the zone because they create so much movement. And Charlie Morton is another guy who really crossfires, and that really makes the repetition of his release point that much tougher. Here's a Supermo on that last pitch from Charlie Morton. You can see the three-quarter delivery coming out of that hand, and the two-seam release on that pitch creates that movement down and in. It's a great view of that.
Great view, and we saw the numbers before on Souza being a guy who's been able to take care of that low pitch. But 95 with a little movement.
Yeah, some heat with movement is tough.
Saw the numbers for Logan Morrison as he bats with 2 outs and nobody on against Charlie Morton. He and Corey Dickerson have the best career numbers in this lineup against Morton. Guys who faced him while in the National League, as Charlie pitches his first full season of American League Baseball with the Astros this year. And now he's ahead of the count 1-2. Good thoughts for Charlie Morton when he comes inside this building. We mentioned when he went to Oakland, it was the last stadium that he had visited. Obviously, the new stadium in Atlanta is still on his docket, but of the 30 stadiums prior to this year, he had been to all of them before Oakland's Coliseum. Here at Tropicana Field, a career-high 11 strikeouts in his one outing. He's ahead 1-2, looking to get through the first 6 batters of this game. Hard hit, but on one big hop. Gloved over there by Yuli Gurriel, and he takes it himself. So 6 up and 6 down for Charlie Morton. It's 1-0 Astros.
And it's time to play. This is presented by Toyota. Last night, a lot of contribution from the bottom half of the lineup. The 6-8 hitters last night, check this out, 7 for 12, 4 runs, 2 RBI, getting it done. This is a deep lineup. You see Alex Bregman, he's really come along. He's been hitting in that 6 hole, finding consistency there. Yuli Gurriel, how about him? 3 hits last night. He's swinging at strikes right now. You guys were just talking about it, but these guys aren't really bottom of the order guys that I was just mentioning, but it just goes to show how talented this club is, and if they can get production 1 through 9, that's one really deep team, guys.
Completely agree on that, Julia. Astros desperately needed it. Talking to some people around the game, they said after that 5 spot in the order last year, there's a lot of swing and miss and pop outs and poor ABs. Can't say that anymore because you've got some high quality guys throughout that lineup.
When you go around the league, one of the first things you hear from the opposing manager, coaching staff, broadcasters, writers is no holes in the Astros lineup. There's no breathing room.
It's nice.
Not every team has a 1 through 9 that rolls like that. Marwin would like to get back to where he was at the beginning of the year as he sends one foul.
And we're not trying to take anything away from those guys hitting at the bottom of the order. It's not a bad thing. It's just they're that good. And it's been such a transition to have three guys at the bottom part of the order that you don't panic having down there. Because throughout the course of the season, you're going to see guys in that 4, 5, 6 spot maybe get pitched around a little bit, and you're going to have some opportunities to create some traffic and damage at the bottom part of the order.
I mean, you look at Brian McCann, he's normally a 4 or 5 guy. Now he's sitting around 6 to 9. Sometimes he moves up, but Josh Reddick was down low earlier in the year. Yuli Gurriel.
Well, Yuli's the one for me. You could move him. I mean, he'd be a great two guy for me. Usually makes pretty good contact, and he's up the middle the other way. He's not afraid to, get deep in counts.
Marwin lays off that pitch. It's 2-2. Marwin started out after 8 games hitting .333 with 3 home runs and 6 RBIs. But he is still with those 3 home runs and 6 RBIs, and that average has dipped down to 158 coming into the game. AJ said before the game, just a matter of a bat or two for Marwin to get rolling, although he doesn't get it here as that breaking ball gets him swinging.
Here's some 6 through 9 numbers. This is what I was talking about. 2016, under 200 in the first 17 games. A lot of strikeouts, but on the right-hand side, these guys have been barreling it up. They've been getting on base, relatively same clip, but these guys are down at the bottom of the order swinging the bats. OPS at 793 because the slugging numbers have been so good.
Quite a difference from last year, first part of the season, as Jake Marisnick shows bunt and misses the bunt, 0-1. Jake's got a couple of home runs on the young season, batting .294 to start the game tonight. Pop foul and out of play, 0-2.
So we look at AJ Hinch going with an entirely right-handed lineup against Blake Snell. There's only 2 guys in this lineup that have home runs against left-handed pitching. Marwin has 2. George Springer has 3. Everybody else has a great big 0 in it, which is amazing when you look down this lineup and you see Beltran, Altuve, Correa. Now you can add Gaddis to that list of home runs against lefties. Bregman doesn't have one this year, and neither does Yuli.
2 guys coming into tonight.
Coming into tonight. Can add a third out of 6 guys that have a home run against left-handed pitchers.
1-2 pitch up and in. It's 2-2.
I'm going to go back to that graphic that we popped up there. What little mix-up, but right in the middle of there, that instead of being 261 on that OBP, it is 361. That just makes their numbers that much better.
And a called third strike on the outer half. Back-to-back strikeouts for Snell, 3 in the game.
And again, you can be selective early in the count with CB Bucknor back there, but if you get to a 2-strike count, you want to be aggressive. Close, borderline, usually to give an inch or 2 off the outside corner leeway for the umpires, but the last thing you want to do if you get a fastball on that outside corner is take it.
Back to the top of the order for George Springer. He takes a curveball for a ball, 1-0. Springer struck out his first time up. George continues to lead the team with those 7 home runs and 13 runs batted in. Fastball upstairs, 2-0. Astros winning last night's game by the score of 6-3, down in the game 3-1. Came from behind again on the road, and in the process, for the first time under AJ Hinch, and the first time since they were in the American League, the Astros scored 5 runs or more in a game here at Tropicana Field.
Madness.
3-0 pitch, 4-pitch walk. So after back-to-back strikeouts, Blake Snell, and you mentioned the strikeout to walk numbers coming in, Blake Snell walks Springer on 4 pitches with 2 outs. Following along on those lines with the 11 strikeouts to 10 walks on the season, tonight he's got 3 strikeouts, and he's also walked 2 batters. Beltran didn't miss a home run by much his first time up. Sent Shane Peterson to the wall in left field. Carlos with the Yankees did not hit in the number 2 spot very often, just 14 times in the last 3 seasons. Second time this year. And he takes a strike from Snell, 0-1. Astros come in with that record of 12-5, leading Oakland by 3 games in the AL West. Oakland the only other team in the West with a winning record. Texas, Los Angeles, and Seattle 3 and 4 games under respectively. In the dirt, 2-1. And Snell misses up high, 3-1. So this is part of the yin and yang of Blake Snell. He can go out there and strike out the first 2 batters of an inning, and now he could walk the next 2.
That's the last thing you want to do with the Astros at 2 outs. They do a great job of driving in runners when they get in scoring position with 2 outs. They've had a lot of 2-out rallies. They hit .344 with runners in scoring position at 2 outs.
On the ground towards third, backs up Longoria, makes the play, and he gets the force out at second. That'll do it for Houston. They still lead 1-0 after 2.5. Nolan Ryan, April 22nd, 1980, 37 years ago today, wins his first game with the Astros, an 8-0 shutout against the Cincinnati Reds.
He was some kind of filthy fastball hammer. You actually saw it, I believe it was that second strikeout with Ryan Sandberg up there, the changeup. Didn't see it too often, but it was effective when he threw it.
Yeah, he didn't throw a lot, but as he told us in spring training, worked on it throughout his career and finally got a little comfortable with it towards the end.
Yeah, he understood he needed that third pitch. Made it happen.
Nolan's line that day on the win against the Reds, 7 innings, 6 hits, 6 walks, 7 strikeouts.
My gosh.
He was working with base runners that day.
Yeah, that's how you rack up some pitches, huh?
Ground ball foul. Dave Smith came on with 2 perfect innings in relief to pick up the win. Alan Ashby was the catcher in that game. Here's the lineup that they shut out in 1980 for the Cincinnati Reds. Started with Ken Griffey, Sr., Junior Kennedy, Dave Concepcion, George Foster, Dan Dreesen, Johnny Bench, Ray Knight, Cesar Geronimo. The big red machine pretty much intact, and Nolan and Dave Smith shut him out.
Pretty impressive.
Here's Derek Norris leading off the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Charlie Morton has seen 6 batters tonight and retired all 6, coming in with a total of 16 pitches after 2 innings. That's correct, 16 after 2. And he's ahead of Derek Norris, 0-2.
14 strikes, 4 balls. It's a pretty good ratio.
Misses away, 1-2. Evan Gaddis behind the plate, catching Morton again today. A.J. Hinch has said that's not necessarily how they're lining it up. Just kind of works out that way with lefty starters against them at times when Morton's been on the mound, in this case Blake Snell. But Gaddis has been able to catch all of Morton's starts. And tonight they've been in sync, 2-2 the count to Derek Norris.
It's actually an interesting point you bring up. We'll take a look at that last pitch on our strike zone. Qualifies as a strike, doesn't get called all the time when you miss your spot. But Morton, in facing Blake Snell, is another left-handed pitcher he's facing. He had to face James Paxton twice already this season. That's a tough matchup.
Yeah, he had 0 run support for 2 starts.
Yeah, I mean, not only they're struggling against left-handed pitching, and then you have to face a guy as good as James Paxton has been so far this season.
It's going to be really interesting to watch Morton, especially if he can stay healthy through the season, to see what kind of numbers he can put up, because his stuff should play pretty well.
I tell you what, spring training, I was blown away. Power fastball, breaking ball, the strikeouts were way up for Charlie.
In the air, shallow pop up, caught by Yuli Gurriel. So 1 out here in the inning, and that's now 7 in a row to start the game for Charlie Morton. And I think with the added velocity that we showed you for the last 2 years, I think he's still learning to harness that. And if he can put it in the right spots, you know, this could be one of those years where he could really take off.
And actually, I'm not sure if Charlie would be able to answer it, but that's an interesting question. Guys are, 91, 92, usually have a certain release point. All of a sudden you add 3 miles an hour, you got to adjust a little bit for that release point because you're speeding up the baseball getting to home plate. So there's going to be either less movement or tougher to control the movement.
Shane Peterson, the batter, 1 out, bases cleared. On the ground foul, it's 1-1. Last night, Mike Fiers got the start. He allowed 3 home runs in the game, but they were all solo home runs. And the Rays had a 3-1 lead at the end of 3, but the Astros had plenty of time to come back, and this offense took advantage of some extra outs. Houston won the game 6-3. Tomorrow it's Joe Musgrove, and then tonight, of course, Charlie Morton. So after 5 innings out of Fiers, and there is an off day coming up on Monday, but Morton right now, early on, you can see his pitch total with 7 outs and 2 strikes on the number 8 hitter.
Yeah, it would be a great thing to see Charlie Morton push into that 6-7 inning range.
And he gets a strikeout. He's had 1 every inning so far, 3 in the game, 2 outs here in the 3rd.
Good breaking ball. tried to elevate the fastball, got the foul from Peterson, and then comes back with a breaking ball. Gives you an idea how good the movement is today. Pretty much out over catching a lot of the plate. Still creates a swing and miss.
No, Charlie has been working with a lot of base runners on this season. This is probably by far the longest stretch out of the windup ball.
It's a good call. You're so right.
He's kind of getting in his zone now as he faces Beckham. Just misses the corner. Nothing, or 1-0, excuse me. Tim Beckham on the season 2A team, better in his last 6. And he swings through that one, 1-1.
Yeah, a lot of the traffic is created with that 270 batting average against Charlie Morton coming into this game, but also 3.5 walks per 9 inning.
And tonight he's been living in and around the zone, enticing hitters when it's just off. He's ahead again, 1-2. With 2 strikes, the Astros will change the shift a little bit as Morton looks behind him and sees Altuve move to the first base side of the bag. In the air to right field, pretty well hit. Springer looks up. This ball is off the wall and past Springer. Beckham on his way to third, and he's going to get there. Springer finally gets to the baseball and brings it back in on a hop to home plate. Took a big bounce off the wall for a 2-out triple by Tim Beckham.
Yeah, I'm with George Springer. I didn't anticipate this ball carrying as far as it did. Pitch up, 97 miles an hour. But Beckham does a good job of just getting the barrel to it. It looked like a half swing, but you could see George Springer kind of surprised at the ball going so far. But when it hit off that chain link just above the padded part of the fence, shot back past him, and nobody backing him up in that right field corner allowed that triple to happen. Pretty good job by the camera guy up there.
Julia fixed the camera.
Man, able to track Beckham all the way around, first to third.
So the first time Morton now works out of the stretch, facing Corey Dickerson with 2 outs. Dickerson hit the ball hard his first time, lining out to center field. Takes a strike. Corey hit a home run to lead off the Rays, bottom of the first in last night's game. Tied for second in the major leagues in leadoff home runs with 2. Half as many as George Springer. On the ground, Gurriel will take it himself, and Morton, after a 2-out triple, works through it with a ground out by Corey Dickerson. 1-0 Houston.
by Houston Methodist. Most opposite field hits this season. Of course, it's Jose Altuve doing a great job. We've seen some shifts against him like we're going to see right now from the Tampa Bay Rays, and he takes advantage of it by taking some of those outside pitches, going the other way. We've even seen some purpose pitches off the plate that Altuve's turned into hits going the other way.
Yeah, it's almost as if the Rays are enticing him to try and hit a ground ball on the right side, and he's pretty good at it. We've seen him do it 3 times this year. He sends one deep to left field, but Peterson is there. He's now looking up, and this ball is gone. Altuve's first of the season. Astros take a 2-0 lead.
It's the first extra base hit for Jose Altuve against a left-handed pitcher this season. Amazing. Good job telling everybody in that Astros dugout. Told you I could do it. 24 bombs last year, first one of this 2017 season.
Josh Reddick, the first one to greet him and take his helmet.
Wasn't it Ted Williams that said the best way to beat a shift is hit it over him or through him?
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. It looked like he caught it, and then Peterson looked like he was tracking it, and then it went about 15 rows deep.
Yeah, I think Peterson lost the ball in the ceiling because that ball was smoked.
That ball was hit well. I like the reception line where Springer yesterday got a little dance out of Carlos Beltran today. Altuve went right by him.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Right by him.
Look at, how dare you.
Now they're okay.
Yep.
Now they're good. Like next time, don't just walk by me. Give me a little something.
Well, Altuve said, hey, I didn't know what I was doing. I haven't done that in a while.
Right. Two-0 pitch is a called strike. 2-1. Well, the combination of Correa and Altuve had one combined home run coming into this game, and it was on opening day by Carlos Correa. So 16 games where those two, and Correa was hurt for 3 games, but 16 games since opening day without a home run from your 3 and 4 hitters. And yet the Astros start the day 12-5. I think that's what A.J. Hinch is referring to when he says this team has played good baseball, but there's still another level they can get to.
That's exactly right.
And that's not good news for the rest of the AL West. Three-2 pitch is in the air to right field. Steven Souza Jr. makes the play. First out here in the 4th.
Back to Hose, trying to get in the kitchen. Fastball right down the middle. He knows what to do with that. Barrel it up, drive through it, put your head down and take a jog.
Blake Snell making his 23rd career start. This is the first time a team's ever hit 2 home runs against him in a same game.
Wow.
Gaddis got him the first time and takes a breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Gaddis hit a 1-1 pitch over the wall in right center field for his first home run of the year. Gaddis is on the board. Altuve is on the board with his first. Springer has the big lead on the team with 7. Snell misses. It's 1-1. At 22 starts, never allowed more than a home run, a single home run in any of those starts. We're talking about Rich Hill and Noah Syndergaard, who in 20 career starts or more have had a lower home run per 9 inning ratio than Blake Snell. Snell 3rd best in the major leagues. But tonight the Astros have been able to get to him for a couple of solo shots. Two and 2. Evan hit 32 last year. hit his first of the season in the second inning. And ball 4. So after getting ahead, Gattis draws a walk. Snell loses them after Snell was ahead. Astros mini plans are on sale now. You can pick the games and the seat locations that work best for you with a 15-game flex plan or 5-game pack. Call 1-877-9-ASTROS or visit astros.com/mini plans to get yours today. Here's Alex Bregman. 1 on, 1 out. Bregman drew a walk his first time up. Pitch misses inside for a ball, 1-0. Astros on a 6-game road trip, 3 here with the Rays in Tampa Bay. Day off on Monday, 3 with Cleveland, Tuesday through Thursday. Then it's back home to take on the AL West once again. Oakland for 3. And the Texas Rangers for the first time all year, beginning Monday, May the 1st, a 4-game series. Bregman with a count of 1-1. '24-year-old lefty Blake Snell delivers home, and Bregman sends one foul. It's 1-2. Battle of guys who'd probably get carded a lot more than others their age. Bregman looks young. He's 23. Snell looks even younger. He's 24. 1-2 pitch in the dirt is 2-2. Here you see the kid out of the Washington State area, big Seahawks fan, big University of Washington Huskies fan, having trouble a little bit with the zone, and that has always been an issue for Blake, is commanding that strike zone early in his career. 2-2 pitch is popped in the air. Deep shortstop, shallow left center field. Who wants it? Beckham staying with it and makes the play. Ball was in the air for a long time, and the Rays shortstop makes the play for the second out. Yuli Gurriel, his last 7 games, is hitting .522. 4 of those 7 have been multi-hit games, and his on-base percentage is .560. Gurriel has been rolling, as Julia mentioned. Staying in the strike zone has been a key. 2 outs, runner on first base. Not only has he stayed in the strike zone, but the hair seems to be a big topic on Twitter, Julia. That hair defies gravity.
That hair has got a personality of its own right now. It changes every day too, and I saw George Springer helping him fluff it up, tease it a little bit before he took the field today. So if you ever wondered how he gets it that way, it's George Springer, of course.
Springer.
He's in the middle of everything.
Part-time stylist.
You know what's good to see, though, is Yuli just opening up, coming out of his shell. When he first got here last year, was real quiet, kept to himself, and then that was how his personality was last year. But now that he's loosened up, gotten real comfortable in this clubhouse, he's got the best one-liners, I'm told. Good or bad, you just can't really shake him up or get him mad. He's got a good outlook on everything.
Tried to hold up on the 0-2 pitch, but he chases the breaking ball in the dirt, and Snell through the 4th inning. But the Astros add to the lead on Jose Altuve's first home run of the year. A shot to left field, and the Astros take a 2-0 lead. 2-0 lead with a couple of solo home runs. The Sunshine Skyway as you look through the sunshine on that bridge not far from Tropicana Field. As Kevin Kiermaier will lead things off. Kiermaier on his 27th birthday struck out his first time up and chases that pitch from Charlie Morton. 0-1. A 2-strike, 2-out triple is the only blemish against Charlie Morton through 3 innings. He started the innings with 32 pitches, just over 10 pitches per inning so far through 3. Look at Morton's first 3 starts of the season. He's gone 6 innings, 5 innings, and 5 innings on a really good pace early tonight. There's a called strike, and he's ahead of Kiermaier for the second consecutive time. 0-2. Kiermaier left last night's game, a little bit of an illness. Had a great catch against the wall while he was in there. Hey, other notable birthdays. We're going to see Tito Francona, Terry Francona, in a couple of days, and there's a strike 3 called. 6 pitches Kiermaier has seen tonight, and Morton has struck him out twice.
Charlie Morton is looking pretty good. It's almost not fair. Able to locate. But here it looked like Kevin Kiermaier might have been looking for something else and got the fastball.
Here's Evan Longoria, bounced out to third his first time up. If you watch the glove where Gaddis is setting up, Morton has been pretty close to that spot the entire game.
Well, I tell you what, how about Evan Gaddis working with Charlie Morton? Maybe getting a little more comfortable with him. You see him looking at the wristband.
Yeah, the play chart. He's got all the signals there. On the ground, past the diving Alex Bregman. That'll be an extra base hit for Longoria. Or will it? Yeah, he's going to get in there ahead of the throw. Marwin Gonzalez tried to get it back in quickly. 2 hits allowed by Morton. They've both been extra bases for Tampa Bay.
Still looking pretty good. See that Evan Gaddis really wanted that fastball away, but it came back up out over the plate. Evan Gaddis setting up on that outside corner, but sometimes with that sinker ball, if you don't create that good sink, looked like he might have tried to go with the cutter that flattened out.
Longoria is starting to get hot here for the Rays the last 3 games. Here's Brad Miller, who grounded out to second his first time up. Both teams with 2 hits. There has not been a single in this game. Double and a triple for the Rays, 2 home runs for the Astros. Called strike, 0-1. Miller stepped out of the box. Not sure if he was pleased with that first strike called by C.B. Bucknor. Morton ahead, 0-2. Brad Miller started his career with the Rays as the starting shortstop. Then as the season progressed, they moved him to second base after the acquisition of Matt Duffy. Then this offseason, it looked like he was going to be their starting first baseman. But Logan Forsythe was traded to the Dodgers. They brought back another Logan Morrison to play first base, and then Miller was moved back to second where he finished last season. Fastball upstairs, it's 1-2. Kid who grew up in Orlando, getting a chance to play not too far from his hometown. Four strikeouts in the game for Morton. Kiermaier twice, Souza Jr., and Peterson. And way inside, backs Miller off the plate.
Aggressive with that cutter slider. That's the pitch he wanted to throw to Evan.
Longoria can't get much of a lead at second with Correa not too far from the bag. 41 pitches in for Charlie Morton, 31 strikes, 10 balls.
Might be trying to get Charlie Morton back on track, but let's take a look at what Charlie's done in situational type outings for him. With nobody on, 367. All of a sudden you get base runners on, but he's doing a great job with those runners on. A $182 against him. But when those guys get into scoring position, that's when he really locks down.
Line drive to right field. Springer is there, makes the play. Hit pretty well by Miller, but 2 outs.
Stay connected to Astros baseball all season long with the MLB.com @Bat mobile app. Customize the app for the Astros and get the best features all season long by subscribing to @Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions will apply. Download MLB.com @Bat app today. The #1 app for live baseball.
So 2 outs, runner on second base, and here's the Rays' best hitter so far this season, Steven Souza Jr. Leads the team in batting average and runs batted in, has 15 RBIs. And Morton starts him off with a fastball that just misses the corner, 1-0. Called strike, 1 ball and 1 strike. Charlie Morton with his 4th start of the season, 2nd career start against the Rays. Both have come here at Tropicana Field. And it's 2-1. Still living in that 95, 96 range. It's velo that was not there a couple years ago. He has tried to explain it, doesn't have a great explanation for it. Talked a little bit about the different torques in his motion, but he's still a little confounded by it also. That did not miss by much, and Morton, rare time behind a hitter in this game, it's 3-1.
It's good to see the velocity up. It'd be nice to see him stay consistent too. It'd be interesting. Pitchers rely a lot on their legs to create that velocity by pushing off. That's the issue that Charlie Morton had last year, was with that hamstring.
See, he has stayed down and away to Souza. Another one down low in the strike zone. Correa can't field it cleanly, and Souza may have beaten it out either way. It's going to be an infield hit. Longoria moves to third on the infield chopper.
Yeah, I've always felt if that ground ball takes 2 hops and you can make the play, you will make the play. But as soon as it takes that 3rd hop, it makes that play a little bit tougher. See it chopped out in front of home plate. But that hop off the turf and then that short hop that he catches it on allows that extra step for the base runner to allow time to beat it out. Souza can run a little bit.
So here's Logan Morrison. That was the first hit allowed this year by Charlie Morton with a runner in scoring position at 2 outs, and it didn't score the run.
How about that?
So see if he can get through Morrison here and keep this 2-0 lead intact.
Tell you what, good job by Evan. Got us back there flying around, keep that ball out in front.
Morrison holds up, it's 2-0. Logan grounded out his first time up to Yuli Gurriel. We talked about Gurriel playing a new position exclusively this year at first base. And this is one of those situations where he had to learn a lot in spring training with a runner on first base, holding that runner and then getting ready, especially with a left-hand hitter. And Morton's missed again. It's 3-0. Charlie had such a good ratio of strikes in his first 3+ innings, but all of a sudden the last 2 batters, he's 3-1 on Souza before the infield hit, and now 3-0 on Logan Morrison.
You see that middle number, second time through the order, the batting average jumps to 304. That's what's leading to some of these short outings from Charlie Morton.
And ball 4. First off walk issued by Morton, and the Rays have the bases loaded with 2 outs. Derek Norris, the hitter. Chops the first pitch foul, 0-1. Norris popped up to the first baseman, Yuli Gurriel, his first time up. Astros lead 2-0, but Charlie Morton trying to work out of a jam for the first time in this game. It only allowed 1 base runner through the first 3 innings. And he's ahead 0-2.
Go from a 4-pitch walk to 0-2 on Norris. You'd like to see him put him away. Pretty good location with 96 on the outer black.
On the ground, Gurriel will flip it to Morton, covering just in time to beat Norris, and that'll do it for the Rays. They leave 3 on in the 4th. The Astros maintain a 2-0 lead heading to the 5th.
Chance to get the Astros ballpark pass is here. The ballpark pass guarantees you access to all 12 weekday games in May for only $59. Visit astros.com/ballparkpass now to purchase your pass while supplies last. Marwin Gonzalez leads things off here for the 2nd time today, actually, and AJ Hinch was hoping to get him going today with these right-handed at-bats. He said that he really just needs to watch the zone tonight versus Snell, but really for Marwin, he just needs a couple of hits to get going. Sometimes that's all it takes for these guys to just move on and to feel a lot better about what you're doing. He also said it's really hard, though, to not carry the last 20 at-bats with you. That's something big leaguers struggle with, guys.
Yeah, great point, Julia. That is not easy to clear your head and feel good at the plate when you're going through something like this. And hopefully Marwin can get it going in this at-batter. certainly in this game, as Blake Snell misses for a ball 1-0. I don't know if it's any easier, Blummer, or worse if you're scuffling, but you know the rest of the guys are doing okay. So you're still winning games despite the fact that you're struggling.
You're just disappointed you can't get in on the party. You want to be like a contributor out there, but it's tough to be the guy that is upset when your team is winning. You want to be a team player, but at the same time, some of that inner turmoil is tough to deal with.
Here you see some of the guys who have contributed tonight, Evan Gattis in particular. And Blake Snell has started out Marwin Gonzalez 3-0. Snell has 3 walks in this game, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth. Only 2 hits he's allowed have been home runs. Gattis to right center field and Altuve to left field. 3-0 pitch misses, 4-pitch walk. That is the 4th walk allowed against 4 strikeouts tonight for Blake Snell. Evan Longoria reminding the young 24-year-old left-hander, this is not a team you can afford to walk too many times. That is living dangerously against this lineup with 4 free passes.
Yeah, you continue to fall behind, somebody's going to get you.
76 pitches with those 4 walks for Blake Snell as we play here in the 5th inning. Marisnick around the bunt, gets it down. Who's going to cover first? Nobody. Jake with a bunt single, first and second.
Great idea. Lefty on the mound, push it towards the first baseman, force somebody to make a decision, and then outrun him. Great location. That's where you need your second baseman to break towards first. Some disappointment on Logan Morrison right there, huh?
Yeah, nobody to throw to. Pitches a breaking ball to Springer for a called strike. George has struck out and walked. Kind of what Blake Snell's night's been about, strikeouts and walks. That was the first single of the game for the Houston Astros. Both the singles in this game, one for the Rays and one for Houston, have been on the infield. 0-1 pitch, back Springer off the plate. It's 1-1. Marwin on second. Jake Marisnick on first. Astros trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Houston coming in averaging 6.6 runs per game on the road. This ball bounces not far enough away for Marwin Gonzalez to move up, but it's a 2-1 count on Springer. George with a 4-pitch walk his last time. I've seen a lot of pitches from Snell out of the zone. He was 3-2 his first time up. You can see Norris keeping that breaking ball within a few feet of home plate. On the ground towards short. Beckham flips to Brad Miller. 1. The return, double play. Springer hobbling down the line. Did not get to that bag in normal fashion to see if everything's okay with George. Double play turn. Runner goes to third. Take a look and see if we can see anything here with Springer coming out of the batter's box. Everything looks okay here. And a little bit of a grab right there towards the left side. So ball is okay for Springer. 2 outs, runner on third. Here's Carlos Beltran. Beltran sent a fly ball deep to left field his first time up. Also reached on a fielder's choice. 0 for 2 in this game. On the ground, slowly hit towards Longoria. 2 hops, and Evan makes the play across to get Beltran So after 2 on and nobody out, Blake Snell gets through the 5th without allowing a run. It's 2-0 Houston. Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. 2-0 Astros, bottom half of the 5th inning. Nori Aoki has taken over in right field. George Springer has left the game after trying to beat out a ground ball for a double play in the top half of the 5th inning. So Aoki, who's played in left field exclusively this year for the Astros, will now play right field for the first time. It's 1-1 to Shane Peterson. Two and 1 to count. Peterson, Tim Beckham, Corey Dickerson in the 5th inning for the Tampa Bay Rays. Appeared that Springer was at least reaching for the back of the leg on the left side. Everything's okay here, and then right there, his grimace. And that's never a good sign when your home run leader and RBI leader has to leave the game in the 5th inning. Peterson swings through that breaking ball. Charlie Morton with his 5th strikeout of the game, 1 out in the 5th. Morton got ahead and then spun a real nice breaking ball over the bat of Shane Peterson. Morton's only had 1 double-digit strikeout performance in his career, and it came here at Tropicana Field in his lone start. Curveball sharp against Peterson, getting him for his 5th strikeout. Now the first pitch strike to Tim Beckham. For the most part, Morton has been around the zone tonight. He lost the zone for about 2 hitters last inning. 3-1 pitch to Souza was an infield hit, and then a 4-pitch walk to Logan Morrison. Charlie has had good command tonight for the most part. Fouled away, it's 1-2. Beckham tripled his first time up, hit one off the wall in right field that got away from Springer at the time. Springer had to run a long way for that triple as it bounced all the way back closer to the infield than the outfield wall. Don't know if he did anything at that point of the game, but certainly something unusual happened on his way down the first base line his last time up. Bregman can't make the play on the ground ball to his left. But Tim Beckham is 2 for 2, and he owns half of the Tampa Bay hits tonight. Here's Corey Dickerson with 1 on and 1 out. Dickerson lined to center and grounded out in this game. Line drive, base hit into right center field. Aoki will come in and make the play. First to third goes Beckham, and the Rays have runners on the corners with 1 out in the 5th. Dickerson didn't get a lot of it. It was off the end of the bat, but it was hit well enough to get into the outfield for the Rays' 5th hit. Gaddis set up on the outer half, and that's where Morton put that pitch, but Dickerson able to just get it off over the head of Carlos Correa in the right center. So here's Kevin Kiermaier. Tough guy to double up with his speed. First and third, 1 out. Strike, 0-1. The Rays for years used to love that first and third 1 out bunt play. 1 or none outs. Alex Bregman it very tight at third base just in case. They used that play a lot more when Joe Madden was the manager than they have the last 2+ seasons, now in his 3rd year under Kevin Cash. One pitch fouled back, and for the 3rd consecutive at bat, Charlie Morton ahead of Kevin Kiermaier, 0-2. Kiermaier with his hands on his hips, a little frustrated tonight. He has seen 8 pitches. He has struck out twice, and now he's down in the count 0-2. Left last night's game due to illness. Today celebrating his 27th birthday. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. 9 pitches and 3 strikeouts. Morton versus Kiermaier tonight. And that is a big strikeout with runners on first and third and 1 out. See where he is releasing that pitch as he gets Kiermaier on that sharp breaking ball that dives down and in on the left-hand hitter to the point where Kiermaier ended up in front of home plate, lost his footing. So that's 6 strikeouts now for Charlie Morton, and he starts Evan Longoria off with a fastball at 97 miles an hour. Evan fouled it away. Morton now with 2 starts at Tropicana Field has pitched 11 1/3 innings and has 17 strikeouts. Inside 1-1. Longoria doubled down the line past Alex Bregman his last time up. Also has grounded out to Bregman. Line drive into center field. That's going to be a base hit. Past Jake Marisnick all the way to the wall. That'll score 2. Around third comes Dickerson. Longoria with a 2 RBI double to tie the game here in the 5th inning.
Well, Charlie unable to pitch out of damage this time around. like an elevated fastball. Evan Longoria up to the challenge. Has been getting big hits for this Tampa Bay Rays offense for a long time. 96 up, line to center field. Jake unable to get over there and cut that ball off.
I think if Jake had a chance to replay that one, he would like to take a different angle.
I'm sure his initial thought off the bat was go get it, make the great play, but sometimes you got to understand, if you can't get there, you got to be able to keep that ball from getting all the way to the wall.
Instead, it allowed the runner on first, Dickerson, to score. So new ball game now, 2 apiece. Pitch to Brad Miller's a called strike, 0-1. Longoria with his 11th and 12th RBIs of the year. Pitch misses inside, 1-1. Miller is grounded out and lined out. On the ground towards third, Bregman makes the play and retires Brad Miller for the final out. But a 2-out, 2 RBI double off the bat of Evan Longoria has tied the game. Gaddis with a home run into right center field, giving the Astros the first run of the game, Evans' first of the season. And Blake Snell, who had never allowed multiple home runs in any start of his career, allows a second home run. Jose Altuve gets his first of the season to left field. That made it a 2-0 game. Astros led 2-0 all the way until the 5th when Evan Longoria tied it on a 2-out, 2 RBI double into center field. That's where we stand heading into inning number 6. Here is Altuve. We saw the Rays shift Altuve the first 2 at bats. First at bat, he still looked like he was ready to swing regardless of the shift and not try and hit a ball on the right side and sent a fly ball to left. His second at bat, he sent a much deeper fly ball to left. Went over the wall. Tommy Hunter beginning to throw in the Rays bullpen. He did not have any bullpen action going on until they tied the game at 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Pitches away to Altuve, 2-0. Snell at 85 pitches. Last start made 102 pitches. That was his high point of the season. There's one down low, and it's 3-0. Snell in danger of walking his 5th batter of the game. There it is, 4-pitch walk. He started out the 5th with a 4-pitch walk to Marwin Gonzalez, and he starts out the 6th the same way, and that will be the last batter that Snell faces in this game with Carlos Correa due up. Kevin Cash in a tie game will go to his bullpen here. And we will tell you about Tommy Hunter when we come back. 2-2 game, nobody out. Altuve on first in the 6th inning.
Two is the score, and time to take a look at our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to vote at Root Sports SW. Here's the question: which of the newer Astros have been the biggest offensive surprise? Is it Carlos Beltran, Yuli Gurriel, Brian McCann, or Nori Aoki? You have a few minutes to vote. Jump on Twitter real quick. We'll tell you who wins later in the broadcast, guys.
All right, Julia, they're all in the lineup right now with Aoki taking over in right field for George Springer. Tommy Hunter, the new pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays.
9 games this season for Tommy Hunter. He's another one of those guys that moved to the bullpen and found some velocity, averaging close to 96 miles an hour. Has a curveball and a cut fastball that'll come in there at 93.
First batter he faces is Carlos Correa, and fires a strike and a fastball, 0-1. Correa's fly to left, fly to right. Tommy Hunter takes over for Blake Snell, who walked 1 batter in each of the last 5 innings. None of those walks, though, have come around to score yet. Altuve, the 5th walk, dives back safely to first. Hunter, a non-roster invitee who made the Tampa Bay Rays this spring. 30-year-old right-hander who has appeared with Baltimore Orioles every season since 2011. He's also pitched on a couple of different teams the last 2 years. The Cubs in 15. And last year with Cleveland for 21 games. Hunter checking out Altuve at first. Jose was picked off a couple of times yesterday by Alex Cobb. That pitch misses away. It's 1-1. Carlos trying to snap it 0 for 16 right now. Altuve on the move, fly ball right field, long run Souza. Altuve hustling to get back. Souza can't get it out of his glove, and Altuve hustles back so he's not doubled up. I believe Altuve may have been deked at second base a little bit too.
Yeah, he put his head down and took off. Didn't peek in on the straight steal. Had a great jump too. See him sliding into second base, just pops up, turns around, and heads back.
Wind sprints.
Yeah, that's a tough 180 feet right there.
Wind sprints with a slide in between a couple of times.
The slide actually helped him pop up and turn around. It's a good thing he didn't run through the bag.
That was a little push off the second base bag. It was like a flip turn in swimming. Here's Evan Gattis. Altuve saying, "You guys already got me twice yesterday."
Yeah.
A little break.
And in talking to A.J. Hinch about those pickoffs yesterday, he wasn't upset about the first pickoff. They understood that Alex Cobb has that balk move. It's the second one he was upset about because he should have learned from the first one.
That ball went right over the camera well, right into the netting, and thank goodness there's netting here at Tropicana Field. Like all their major league stadiums, that was a rocket off the bat of Evan Gattis. Knocked the hat off of the low cameraman down there, Chris Doran. He's okay. He was just reacting to the line drive that went whistling by his left ear. Scary.
Yeah, you don't see a hitter let the ball get that deep too often.
Altuve was on the move with the last pitch. On the move again, swing and a miss. The throw, one hops into second. Altuve 7 for 7 now in steals as he is safe.
That's what Altuve's been trying to do the last 3 or 4 pitches, is get to second base. Want to take advantage of these Tampa Bay catchers. They don't throw very well. Got to imagine if you're a pitcher and you see a guy leaning like that, step off or give at least a courtesy pickoff.
Gattis stays alive, 0-2. Evans been on base with a walk his last time up, and then he circled the bases his first time with a home run to right center field. Astros and Rays tied at 2 in the 6th inning. Blake Snell, the starting pitcher for Tampa Bay, out of the game. Charlie Morton has thrown 73 pitches through 5. In the dirt, 1-2. There is Charlie, who allowed a run-scoring hit with runners in scoring position for the first time this season on that 2-out double by Longoria. Likes that curveball with this count against a right-hander like Evan Gattis. Two and two.
Evan got it. Good job laying off.
Altuve on the move, ground ball right side. Morrison will make the play himself. Altuve is going to try and score. He is safe. Altuve steals a run to take a 3-2 lead.
No, you're exactly right. He literally stole that off Logan Morrison, who took his sweet time getting over to first base. Heads up play by Jose Altuve. The kid is always playing hard, but he's also playing with his head up and using those instincts. That was beautiful.
Now the trainer, Mark Vincent, assistant athletic trainer for the Tampa Bay Rays, comes out to look at Tommy Hunter, who's all the way near second base, the starting pitcher, the relief pitcher. What a play by Altuve.
And it might be Tommy Hunter not able to get over there. Logan Morrison had to cover the bag. See Tommy Hunter bouncing around, but Altuve with an unbelievable read. That's knowing your wheels and believing in your instincts. That was great.
The old ground out to first base RBI with a guy on second for Evan Gattis.
Nobody happier than Evan Gattis about the hustle of Jose Altuve.
You could see, as you mentioned, Plummer, Hunter hopping around and trying to cover first base, never got there. Morrison took the play himself, and Tommy Hunter seems to be in a little bit of pain out there behind the mound. Take another, and they're not even going to try and throw a pitch with him. Here's another look, Plummer.
Evan does a good job in that 2-strike count, but you can see Tommy Hunter, something wasn't right immediately off the mound. Pulls up, but still, even in pulling up, you'd expect Logan Morrison to be a little more urgent going to get that out at first base with the runner going to third.
So Hunter leaves, and We'll tell you about the new pitcher, kid out of University of Houston, when we come back.
The Oakland A's. 10,000 fans will receive an Alex Bregman white jersey presented by AT&T. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
3-2 Astros lead on Jose Altuve's great base running ploy by scoring from second on a ground out on the right side. Tommy Hunter, injured on the play, left the game. And the new pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays is a kid from the Woodlands who grew up a Houston Astros fan, attended the University of Houston after a couple of years at Navarro College. From Woodlands College Park High School, Austin Pruitt gets a chance to pitch against his favorite team as a kid.
Pretty cool, pretty special. 7 games at ERA at 10. Let's see, 2016, the MVP at AAA Durham. Getting roughed up a little bit, just getting his feet wet here in the big leagues.
He gave up a run in his first 6 games, and then he pitched 3 1/3 shutout innings in his last appearance and picked up a win and a come-from-behind victory against the Tigers. So now, as a rookie pitching against his favorite team growing up, he is warming up in front of everybody on the regular
Timing
mound.
is everything, isn't it?
It really is. How about that play by Jose Altuve? You can never see this enough.
No, you really can't. Look at how hard he's playing, taking off on the pitch. It just keeps his head up the entire time. With him stealing that base, obviously he got to third base relatively quickly. But to be able to make contact with the bag, make the turn, keep heads up, just keep those wheels turning, that was a beautiful thing. Those are instincts and savvy that you can go out and do all the analytics you want, but you can't get inside the mind of a ball player, and that is a ball player.
Here's Alex Bregman. Pruitt didn't take a long time to warm up, especially for a guy who had been a starting pitcher every game his last 3 seasons. Sometimes you feel a little pressure when you're out there and everybody's waiting for the game to restart to get warm quickly. We'll see how he fares here against Bregman, who was 0 for 1 with a walk. Breaking ball for a called strike, 0-1.
Well, nobody's been talking about pace of play in the last 3 or 4 years, have they?
Yeah, just a minor topic.
Yeah, but Austin Pruitt, fastball, 92. Changeup, curveball, slider.
Throws a slider a lot to righties like Bregman. We just saw it there.
I think that was it right there.
1-1 the count. Couple of solo home runs and the speed of Jose Altuve have the Astros in front 3-2. In the air to shallow right, coming on Steven Souza Jr. He'll make the play. Bregman retired to end the top of the 6th, but Jose Altuve gives Houston the lead. 3 hits. As we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning, Jose Altuve, who drew the 5th walk of the game from Blake Snell, came around to score on a ground out from second base. Altuve was running on the pitch. So Morton now working with a lead for the 2nd time. Gave up a 2-out, 2 RBI double to Evan Longoria, who tied the game in the bottom of the 5th. Here's Steven Souza Jr. taking a breaking ball inside, 1-0. Souza Jr. with an infield single his first time up. That's his 24th hit of the season. Tied with Starlin Castro of the Yankees for the most in the American League. There is a new American League leader in hits as he's going to have extra bases this time around. That ball goes all the way to the wall. Souza Jr. to second. Thinks about 3, but Marisnick gets the ball back in nicely.
That was a well-struck baseball. Another mistake from Charlie Morton, trying to battle through this 6th inning, but we've seen this a couple times today where Evan Gattis wants that fastball in the outside corner, but with the sinker tailing back right over the meat of the plate, gets hammered.
Logan Morrison, the batter, ground out in a walk. He would take a ground out to the right side like he had in the first at bat, with a runner on second in a 3-2 game and nobody out. Astros use the shift with 3 on the right side. And he tries to pull a ball on the ground and ends up pulling it foul. 0-1. Rocco Baldelli, first base coach for the Rays. Starting to get some movement in the Astros bullpen. Gregerson getting loose. Pitch is a strike. Logan does not like that call by CB Bucknor. 0-2.
Gosh, he is furious with CB.
Deep breath.
Yeah, you got to regroup after that. Sometimes that's the hardest thing, is not letting the umpire affect your AB. You still have 1 pitch left.
One and 2. Hard to erase that, though, isn't it, as a hitter?
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
Because right now he's thinking, I should be 2-1 right now.
Should be 2-1, being a better hitter's count. Instead, you're trying to figure out where exactly the strike zone is, and where do you have to defend?
See, Souza can't get a big lead off second with Correa playing right up the middle. 1-2 pitch, just missed the corner. 2-2.
Gutsy take.
Was a gutsy take. He might have not stayed in the game if that was a called third strike.
Yeah, if that's a called 3rd strike, Logan Morrison will be getting his money's worth, to say the least.
Evan Gattis, a little meeting with Charlie Morton.
See a few more of these when the situations call for it, especially with runners in scoring position. Evan Gattis wants to make sure that he and Charlie are on the same page. They both know Charlie's tendencies. The opposing hitter also understands the tendencies of Charlie Morton.
Julia, update on George Springer.
We just got one. He pulled up earlier running to first base. He left the game with discomfort in that left hamstring. He has day-to-day. We'll learn more after the game.
All right. Looked like that's where he was grabbing, running down the line, trying to beat out that double play ground ball in the 5th inning. So the left hamstring discomfort takes him out of the game. We saw Nori Aoki in right field for the first time for Houston. 2-2 the count on Morrison. And Charlie decides to step off. Big spot in this game.
It is a big spot in this game, but I'd be willing to bet that George is not in that lineup tomorrow, unless maybe DHing, but they're not going to put him back on this turf.
And you have a day off on Monday.
Yep.
So it gives you an extra 24 hours if you do give him tomorrow off. Gaddis dropped that ball. That wasn't far from being a strike at the knees.
That was borderline. I bet you if he was able to corral that, get in the glove and maybe pull it up, maybe get the call from CB Bucknor just at the bottom of the zone.
So 0-2 has now become 3-2. Just missed inside, ball 4. Morton a little frustrated after that walk, being ahead of the count, 0-2. First and second now with nobody out.
Did you see Logan Morrison jawing at CB Bucknor after a walk? That was a good one.
Did he?
Yes, he was.
Now Morrison's having a word with Manny Gonzalez.
Manny Gonzalez needs to stay out of it. He may be trying to calm down Logan Morrison, which I hope he is, but he just needs to stay out of it.
Well, Logan drew the walk.
Yeah.
Should be okay now. Here's Derek Norris. Astros creeping in on the corners. Norris is 0 for 2 in this game. Round to bunt, misses the bunt.
How about that? Can't imagine Derek Norris has been called on to bunt too often in his career.
We were thinking along the same lines. I was just going to look that up. He doesn't have any this year. I'm guessing he didn't have many prior to this season either. Sometimes you see that first attempt, it makes you rethink things as a manager. He is still around to bunt, takes this one away. It's 1-1. Derek Norris in his career, 6 seasons, has 2 sacrifices. Last one was in 2014.
Yeah, you're going to do it against a guy throwing 96 miles an hour with a sinker.
Letting him swing this time, and Morton misses away. It's 2-1. Well, if Charlie wants to earn a W tonight, this is the point of the game where he needs to get a big out and make some quality pitches. You can see all 3 pitches to Norris have been right around the same area.
Interesting to see what happens right here. He has squared around to bump. A 2-1 count is an action count. You might see the base runners moving.
Norris has been struggling at the plate recently. See if anything's on here. 2-1 pitch, chop foul. It's 2-2.
And 1-0 and 2-1 counts are action counts in the sense that the pitcher doesn't want to fall behind 2-0, 3-1. So chances are pretty good you're going to get a pitch, at least in the vicinity of the zone, because he's going to be trying to throw a strike.
Stays 2-2. Morton's allowed 7 hits in this game. He's walked 2. Both walks issued to Logan Morrison. Of the 7 hits, 4 have been extra base hits, including a double to start this inning by Steven Souza Jr. What was a great pitch count through 3 at 32 pitches after the 3rd inning has now moved up to 87, about to be 88 pitches, as we play here in the 6th inning with no outs.
Yeah, he has been grinding the last 3 innings.
Left the bases loaded in the 4th. Almost got through a 1st and 3rd situation in the 5th with 1 out. Picked up a big strikeout of Kiermaier, but then Evan Longoria doubled. Now trying to work out of a 1st and 2nd no-out jam. Morton has certainly slowed the pace in this inning and also had extended conversations with Evan Gattis. You see that pitch per inning has been going in the wrong direction since the 3rd. Just misses. 3-2.
Man, it's a tough pitch to lay off. Good location from Charlie.
Will Harris has been loosening in the Astros bullpen and would be available, you would think, if Morton needs help in this inning. About to make his 89th pitch. 3-2. Line drive. Base hit up the middle. Steven Souza Jr. is being held by Charlie Montoyo. That is a lot of respect for Jake Marisnick. Souza had to get back to the bag at 3rd.
That is a great deal of respect. Reputation now of Jake Marisnick being a very good outfielder and a guy who can come up throwing. Had a little bit to do with what Derek Norris did to that baseball too. He hit that thing extremely hard to center field.
Well, A.J. Hinch has come out of the dugout. He is called for the bullpen. Will Harris is going to inherit a very difficult bases loaded no-out situation in the 6th inning in a 1-run game. Charlie Morton goes 5 innings plus 3 batters. More on Harris when we come back.
Norris, you can see Souza being held up early. He was touching that bag as soon as Jake Marisnick had the baseball. I think I would have given it a shot if I was Charlie Montoyo at 3rd base.
There's a lot of respect for the Astro center fielder, and sometimes respect can affect the game. And right now, the Rays have runners on every bag, and a new pitcher with nobody out is Will Harris.
Will Harris doing a good job this season. Inheriting a very tough situation. Bases juice, nobody out. At 143 BABIP, it's a very good number.
Faces Shane Peterson, who tries to hold up, and he does check his swing. 1-0. That was a close call. No swing, says Mark Carlson. Peterson struck out twice against Charlie Morton. Good call. Shane Peterson has never faced Will Harris before. On the ground over the head of Gurriel. Altuve has nobody to throw to. tie game at 3.
That was an interesting play. Colossal chop over the head of Gurriel. Will Harris was covering on the play. I think he wanted to throw from Jose Altuve to try and get Shane Peterson going down first base. But I think it would have been a crazy close play at first, even if he had given him that ball. Peterson was flying down that first base line.
Will wanted the throw. It would have been a very close play. Altuve decided not to make the throw, and here's Tim Beckham with the bases still loaded and nobody out. Infield single by Peterson ties the game at 3. Fastball up high for a ball, 1-0. Beckham's tripled and singled.
Would have been a tough toss for Altuve going to the pitcher moving. Didn't want to risk something going wrong and leading to more runs.
And a strike, 1-1. James Hoyt just called up from AAA Fresno on Thursday. Warming up here with the bases loaded in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss, ball and 2 strikes.
Good breaking ball. Will throws an extremely hard breaking ball.
See, he likes that breaking ball against righties in this count. See if he doubles up here against Beckham. He does, and a little squib foul. It stays 1-2.
Just a good look at it. You can see that's his grip is a little bit different. He's not on the side of the baseball. Really has those 2 fingers on top and pulls down. Creates that 12-6 break.
Could use a strikeout here. Bases loaded, nobody out. Corey Dickerson on deck. In the dirt, blocked by Gaddis, 2-2. Both starting pitchers began the 6th inning. Neither one recorded an out in the 6th. Wharton faced 3 batters in the 6th inning. Snell, the Tampa Bay starter, faced 1. Line drive softly hit into right field. That's a base hit. That'll score Logan Morrison. The throw comes in by Aoki. 1 base at a time, but the Rays have taken a 4-3 lead. Tim Beckham's 3 for 3.
And these Tampa Bay Ray hitters are just getting enough of the baseball to find some open space in the outfield. But again, with 2 strikes, able to just get some part of the bat on it. That cut fastball going away from him, drops right in front of Aoki. Tampa Bay Rays playing station-to-station baseball.
Though bases remain loaded, 5 consecutive Rays have reached base. Tampa Bay leading 4-3. Here's Corey Dickerson. Fastball misses, ball 1. Double walk single allowed by Charlie Morton. Infield chopping single and a soft flare to right against Will Harris. Not a lot of hard contact against the Astros reliever, but a couple of base hits. Infield comes in now with a count of 1-0. Peterson takes a big swing at the plate. A little scary for the guys that are in on the infield. Now it's 1-2. Kevin Kiermaier, who was ill and left the game in last night's game, not in the on-deck circle. With a righty on the mound, Peter Bourjos has grabbed the bat. He's in the on-deck circle.
Kiermaier's not feeling good, and he's also having a rough night.
9 pitches and 3 strikeouts.
Considering how well he's been swinging the bat, that's an odd thing to see.
Gaddis wants to talk to Will Harris.
This is a tough part of baseball, but a part of baseball. And communication between pitcher and catcher.
Tampa Bay has more strikeouts than any other team in baseball by a pretty healthy margin. Will Harris could use a strikeout here. Dickerson stays alive on the high fastball, 1-2. A little bit of tough luck for Will Harris so far in this inning. Came on with the bases loaded and nobody out. Got a chopper on the right side that went over the head of Yuli Gurriel. Altuve made the play, but did not throw to Harris, who was racing down the line with Shane Peterson. Then a little flare single to right off the bat of Tim Beckham. Now trying to get Corey Dickerson. On the ground to Altuve. He's going to come home. They get the force out there. No chance for any other play, but the Astros record their first out of the inning on the fielder's choice.
That's why you play the infield in. You play that infield in, your intention is to get that base runner home plate. Altuve does just that. See, Altuve had no intention of anything other than getting that runner at home plate. He just wanted to get it there soon enough to possibly have a play at first base. But now you've got A.J. Hinch out there. This is strategy. This is what are they going to do with the infield? Are they going to play the middle infielders back for double play depth? Are they going to bring the corners in to get the play at home? Bourjos is a guy that runs reasonably well. Might be tough to double up. But it also might be a situation where we saw Bourjos working on bunting before the game. This guy might bunt. You got to plant that seed in the defensive mind.
Oh, Kiermaier leaves the game early for the second consecutive game for the Rays. And Bourjos will pinch hit righty on righty. Kiermaier left-hand hitter, so obviously he is not feeling well, we have to imagine, based on how he left the game yesterday. Pitch home is a strike, 0-1. Astros with the infield tight again. As Blummer said, with the speed of Peter Bourjos, they're not going to be able to turn 2 more than likely. They will try and cut off the run at home again. Called strike, 0-2.
Borderline pitch. Will Harris gets the call from CB. Take it. Punch out would be big right here.
Really would. You can see if he can extend that zone a little bit and get Bourjos to chase outside at 0-2. On the ground, base hit into center field. That'll score 2. Around third comes Beckham. Marisnick's throw into third. And into second goes Bourjos. It's now a 6-3 Tampa Bay lead.
Breaking ball up, just got way too much of the plate. The infield drawn in. Correa had no shot. It's a good look at it.
James Hoyt will be the new pitcher. Astros giving up 4 so far here in the 6th inning. Tampa Bay taking a 6-3 lead. We'll have more after this. Four spot, runners on 2nd and 3rd and 1 out. Will Harris out of the game, and the new pitcher for Houston is James Hoyt.
5 games pitched at AAA for James Hoyt after not making the ball club out of spring training. Had himself a very nice spring. Did give up a run down there, but with Gustave going on the DL, James Hoyt takes his place. 10 games in spring training. You saw those great numbers.
So the Astros will continue to employ the infield in. Those are the 2 guys that pitched in this inning. Hoyt being the 3rd. Charlie Morton started the inning. 3 runners on base. Will Harris pitching some tough luck, but also gave up his first run of the year in April since the beginning of last season. Here's Evan Longoria with 1 out. He fouls one away, nothing in 1. Rays with 11 hits to 3 for the Astros. Tampa Bay leads it 6-3. Carlos Correa makes the catch on the line drive, and Longoria retired for the 2nd out. Big out for James Hoyt. Here's Brad Miller, 9th batter in the inning for Tampa Bay. Hoyt appeared in 22 games last year for Houston. Has never faced Tampa Bay prior to tonight. Miller 0 for 3 on the game. Ground out, line out, and ground out. Swing and a miss, nothing in 1. One thing that Hoyt said at AAA Fresno this year, even though he had those good numbers, is he didn't really face many lefties while he was down there.
Huh. That's interesting.
Said that he's maybe seen just a handful of lefties so far in the 5 innings of work. So he likes that splitter against lefties, but he just hasn't been able to work on it as much as he would like. See if it factors into this at bat against Brad Miller. Hoyt ahead, 0-2. 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Hoyt has a fastball slider and that split finger that Todd has been talking about to equalize against left-handers. There was a lot of talk that the main reason he might be on this ball club is to come in here and face some tough left-handed hitters.
He did strike out almost 11 and a half per 9 innings last year in his rookie season. We saw Gattis go to the wristband. And it looks like Hoyt finally has the signal he wants. In the dirt, 1-2. Astros led this game 2-0. Rays tied it at 2 in the 5th. Houston took a 3-2 lead in the top half of this inning. Now Tampa Bay has come up with 4 in the bottom half. Still a couple runners on and 2 outs. Away 2-2. Called third strike on the inside corner. But Tampa Bay scores 4 in the inning on the benefit of 5 base hits.
Seventh, and time to reveal the winner of our Chevy Stroh poll. Thank you all for voting at Root Sports SW, is where you can find these every game. Which of the newer Astros has been the biggest offensive surprise? That's what we asked. And you think it's Nori Aoki with 43%. He's hitting 300 coming in today. We even saw some pop from Aoki. Oh, I think that was it right there. No, Glenn. Flex the muscles. Here it is. Yeah. You can watch that all day.
Buys and tries. Here's Yuli Gurriel, one of those in that Stroh pole. Up the middle, but played perfectly by Brad Miller in the shift, and he makes the play. Pruitt gets an out on the first pitch here in the 7th inning.
Gosh. I love Yuli, but swinging at the first pitch after that inning that just happened on defense, you'd like to see him work the count a little bit better to lead off this inning.
Marwin batting left-handed for the first time. Struck out and drew a walk right-handed against the starter Blake Snell. See if Marwin can get rolling here, trying to snap an 0 for 15. Austin Pruitt on the mound for the Tampa Bay Rays, pitched for the Houston Cougars in the 2012 and 2013 seasons. One of his teammates is currently in the Astros minor leagues, Matt Hernandez, who was a closer on that in that program. Pitch is away. It's 1-1. Right now, because Pruitt recorded the final out of the 6th inning, and then the Rays scored 4 in the bottom half. If they hold on to this lead, he would be the pitcher of record against a team that he grew up watching and cheering for. 1-1 to Marwin. Up the middle to his left, Beckham, the shortstop, makes the play for the second out. Pruitt picked up a win in his last outing. It was his first scoreless outing of his major league career in 7 outings. Retired all 3 he has faced in this game. Here's Jake Marisnick. Astros have had a propensity to come back in games on the road, but this is not necessarily a building where they have scored a lot of runs in the last few years.
Yeah, they've got a couple of things working against them. Good news is that there's no left-hander in the bullpen anymore. Roster change put their only lefty on the DL. But yeah, it's going to be a tough comeback in a ballpark they don't usually hit very well at.
Down 3, 2 outs in the 7th inning. 2-1. Xavier Cedeno going on the DL for Tampa Bay. Ryan Garton was called up, a righty, so they are an all right-handed bullpen. AJ mentioned that as part of the reason he liked Carlos Beltran in the 2 spot. Have all those righties bunched up. Swing and a miss, it's 2-2. Foul tip. Marisnick stays alive. Astros with just 3 hits in this game. They did draw 5 walks from the starter Blake Snell. Tommy Hunter came on, but he had to leave due to injury. And then Austin Pruitt has retired the 3 batters he has faced. Third strike. Marisnick not happy with that call, and he fires the bat down. Final out in the 7th inning, and has a word or 2 for CB Bucknor. Jake Marisnick and Logan Morrison not pleased with the strike zone tonight. 7th inning stretch time at Tropicana Field.
Time to play Name That Astro. It's brought to you by your local Honda dealer. We give you clues. You tweet us your best guess at Root Sports SW. Here's your clues for the day. Jurassic Park. Is that Mea Culpa? Tampa Proud? Mea Culpa, I guess I should say. It's
a
already
tough
stumped
one.
me, and I'm the one giving. Good luck.
Name that Astro.
Does
As
Jurassic Park mean that it's somebody really old?
it's part of deciphering the clues, right? You got the one yesterday right away. How about this one?
Not so much.
Okay.
Stumped.
James Hoyt in his first full inning of work faces Steven Souza Jr. and bounces one foul. Hoyt got the last 2 outs in the 6th inning and kept this a 6-3 game. See what Souza Jr. has done. He doubled his last time up to start what was a 4-run rally for Tampa Bay in the 6th inning. 2 for 3 in the game, including a strikeout. Swing and a miss at a fastball, 0-2, 93, 94 on that fastball. And 3 pitches and a strikeout. Souza avoids the tag, so Gaddis has to throw down. Souza jumping in the baseline. That wouldn't have been interference, would it? One out here in the seventh.
No.
One out here in the 7th. Souza Jr. is a little bit of a goofball.
Well, until somebody squares you up right in between the numbers.
I mean, he avoids the tag, and then he tries to block the throw from Gaddis. Watch this.
Having a good time playing the game.
So now 1 out and Logan Morrison. Logan was not pleased with CB Bucknor in his last plate appearance and swings and fouls one back, 0-1. This game started 6:10 Eastern time, 5:10 for most viewers watching us on Root Sports. Well before the start of the game, Julia Morales was up in the catwalks here.
She was doing some serious work.
We're not going to New York for another 3 weeks, Julia, but how was the walk on the catwalk today?
I'm not fashionable enough to know what a real walk on the catwalk is.
Stop.
That was pretty cool.
Stop. That was? You had fun up there?
A little scary when I
Yeah.
first got up there. You mentioned how it might be shaky. And, you know, it was a little bit, so I was doing well until the entire walkway tilted. Once I made it up to that next ring, it was all at an angle, like a fun house. Had a little problem with that. I got nervous, sweaty, and it's 1,000 degrees up there. Who knew?
Each ring as you go higher gets warmer and warmer.
Ooh, warmer and more tilted.
Yes.
The degrees change a little bit.
The reason I stopped at the B ring and you went all the way to the A ring today. So congrats on that. That's way up there.
Well, you pushed me to go up there. You told me you'd never been up there, so challenge accepted.
I laid the gauntlet down. There's only one other place to go other than the A ring, and that's the gondola in the middle.
No, I'm good. That's
Yeah,
where the
there's no
raccoons
point.
hang out.
Yeah, I would not want to see what's inside there.
They actually, I could see the raccoon paw prints
Seriously?
on the railing as we headed up. What do they do up there?
Yeah, how do the raccoons get all the way up there?
I don't know.
There's no food. I mean, you got to
clue.
have some kind of like life source up there. There's no point.
No, I also
Don't need
wanna,
the vantage point.
You're telling me there's raccoons in the top of the roof?
Yeah, they head straight up apparently. Gary told me
What?
that. I have to give a huge shout out to Gary for taking me up there. He's been around this ballpark. You probably know how long he's been around Tropicana Field.
Since the building started.
Yeah. Well, he was even telling me the story about how 1999 he believes was when he had to go get Jose Canseco's home run ball off of one of those rings, and he made a big highlight reel and was really proud of that moment. So shout out to Gary. He was great.
Gary's been around here, I think, even before baseball was played here, because they had events here before.
Yeah, some big ones.
Yeah, the Lightning played a season or two here. Back when it was called the Thunderdome. They had regionals here, and the Final Four
Yep.
was played here. Back when it was the Florida Suncoast Dome. Derek Norris. How about James Hoyt? He's retired all
Couple
4
of
batters.
punch-outs.
Couple punch-outs this inning. Throwing the ball nicely coming up from AAA Fresno.
Kid realizes an opportunity.
A.J. Hinch said when he was called up, this is a guy that would be pitching in a lot of bullpens in Major League Baseball, but did not leave West Palm Beach on the big league roster. But he has come in here and retired all 4 batters he has faced, and he's ahead 0-1 on Derek Norris. So where Julia was up on that A ring, it's 190 feet above the field.
That's not cool.
That is way up there.
That is not cool at all.
I'm still trying to understand what your question was with the raccoons, is what are they eating if they're up at the top of the roof?
Aren't raccoons going after food?
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, why would they go? I mean, maybe there's a couple birds up there that died or something. I don't know.
1 and 2 the count to Norris. Maybe they just didn't want her to go up there, so they gave her the raccoon story.
Okay.
Gary's a pretty honorable guy, though. I don't think he would make that up. Now you see the movement of the shift with 2 strikes. James Hoyt trying to keep this a 3-run game and give Houston's offense a chance in the final 2 innings. Bounces away. It's 2-2. You know, that last inning got away on a couple of plays that were unfortunate, but it was really kind of the tale of 2 games tonight for Charlie Morton. He was dominating through 3 innings and just couldn't continue that in the middle innings.
Yeah, trying to decipher what exactly was going on. Just left some pitches out over the plate. A couple guys got hits. He had 1 walk.
I think the big hit, and even though the 4 runs were scored in the 6th, if he gets through that Evan Longoria at bat,
yeah,
he got a big strikeout the batter before. He got Kiermaier leaving runners on 1st and 3rd and 1 out. If he gets Longoria, and he was ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, that's one of the fastballs. Actually, it was a slider that backed up a little bit, fluttered out over the plate. Just a mistake pitch. It's unfortunate.
Hoyt's 2-2 delivery. Ball hit hard, but Alex Bregman is there to catch it on the line. So James Hoyt with a 1-2-3 inning, including a couple of strikeouts. We're through 7. It's 6-3 Tampa Bay.
And we'll see Carlos Beltran this inning, who's DHing. He's been doing a lot of that for the Houston Astros and has played a lot of right field here recently in his career. So he said, you know, I'm still getting used to DHing and trying to find a good routine for myself, figuring out what works, how to get loose before every at bat. He's been taking swings in the cage, and if they don't have a cage close to the field, he'll actually make his own cage in the clubhouse. He said he'll put the tee in there, put the net in there. He did it in Oakland just so he could take some swings, whatever works. But he does feel good about his swing right now. He says the rhythm's good. He's getting good results. So this is definitely a period where Carlos Beltran is looking and feeling good at the plate.
Sets up a batting cage in the clubhouse?
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, you got to do that sometimes. You know, a lot of these new ballparks, they'll actually I think they might actually make it mandatory to put in a cage somewhere in between the clubhouse and the dugout. But the older stadiums like Dodger Stadium, Fenway, Wrigley, and Oakland don't have that batting cage in the vicinity, so you got to set up a net in the clubhouse, clear out some of the chairs and tables and sofas and PlayStations, and get your hacks in and keep loose.
Here's Nori Aoki, who is batting for the first time since he entered the game after the top half of the 5th inning. Came on in the bottom of the 5th, getting his first at bat here in the 8th. And he faces Austin Pruitt, who is now pitching into his second full inning of work. And Pruitt, the University of Houston Cougar, has retired all 4 batters he has faced. So that's not unusual to have it like a little net and a tee in the clubhouse.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
In the air to left, everybody shades Aoki the other way, and Peterson comes up with a catch. Nice play by Shane Peterson.
It was a very nice play on that sinking fly ball off the bat of Nori Aoki. They were already shifted over that way, knowing that he likes to go the other way, but a good job hustling in.
Here's the aforementioned Carlos Beltran, who's 0 for 3 today. Hit a ball deep to left field his first time up. In the air to left, this one easier for Peterson. And there's 2 away. Other Houston Cougars in the big leagues include Doug Drabeck, Brad Lincoln, Michael Bourne.
Woody Williams was a Houston Cougar also.
They've had their share of major leaguers, over 20 that have played at University of Houston and have ended in the big leagues. Woody. Yep, Woody Williams, 86 through 88. Whew. Anthony Young.
There you go.
And now Austin Pruitt, the newest member of the Cougar alumni, made his major league debut this year. Now pitching against his childhood favorite team. He's retired 6 straight batters, and he's ahead of Jose Altuve, 0-2. Get out of the Woodlands has done a nice job for Tampa Bay tonight, and he gets Altuve chasing. Pruitt retires all 70 bases, and Tampa Bay leads heading to the bottom of the 8th, 6-3.
Astro brought to you by your local Honda dealer. These were your clues. Thanks for tweeting in your best guess. I saw a couple of correct answers in there. Jurassic Park, this Carl Everett was asked if he believed in dinosaurs, apparently, and he said he didn't. You're cracking up there. He went to Hillsborough? Hillsborough?
Yep.
Thanks, Todd. Right here in Tampa.
Yeah. He also doesn't believe we've been to the moon.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, some
was
good
that a
stuff.
post-game press conference or something?
Yeah, it was a big deal about it. It was a pretty legendary interview with him saying that. I wonder if he's with the Earth is flat guys too.
And mea culpa?
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
I'm not sure about that one.
Got suspended for bumping into umpire Ron Culpa.
Nice one. Nicely played. Pitch away from Tony Sipp, new pitcher on for the Astros here in the bottom half of the 8th inning as he faces Shane Peterson. And Carl Everett had a little different take on life than most.
Had a dangerous approach at the plate too. He put both toes on that inside corner and dared you to come after him.
There's a foul tip, 1-2. Peterson with an infield single right in the middle of that 4-run rally. As you look at Tampa Bay closer Alex Colomé, who was an all-star for them last year, he's starting to warm up with a 3-run lead. Peterson with the bases loaded and nobody out, chopped the ball over Yuli Gurriel's head. Altuve made the play, but then Harris covering, and it would have been a close play. Altuve did not throw the ball, and Peterson ended up living on the hit. He would come around to score. Peterson strikes out there. Tony Sipp's been better last few outings.
Well, that's a good pitch right there. That's a pitch he needs to go out there and get left-handed hitters. Is that slider going away from their barrels? Kind of lost it a little bit last year. It relied heavily on the fastball split finger. But if you're going to go in there and try and get left-handers out, you need that pitch that breaks away from them.
Here's Tim Beckham. He's having quite a game. Triple, single, 2 runs scored, and RBI. Pitch misses. It's 1-0. Charlie Morton allowed 5 runs in 5 innings plus 3 batters. Will Harris allowed a rare April run. Just his second outing in 3 seasons of April baseball where he's allowed a run. Ball into left field. Marwin Gonzalez got a good break and makes the play. Beckham retired for the 2nd time tonight. 2017 Coca-Cola Astros Buddies memberships are on sale now for only $25. Kids up to 12 years old get a voucher for 4 tickets to a select Astros game, priority access to Kids Run the Bases, exclusive player autograph sessions, and more. Visit astros.com/buddies to get a Buddies membership for your kid today. 7 in a row sent down by James Hoyt and now Tony Sipp after that 4-run rally by the Rays in the bottom of the 6th. Swing and a miss by Corey Dickerson as Sipp faces 2 lefties in this inning. Let's not overlook what James Hoyt did. I know it's in a 3-run deficit, but that's a nice job saving the bullpen and getting 5 outs.
Big time. And just to keep this ball game right where it's at, not let things spiral out of control is a big deal.
On the ground, past Yuli Gurriel into right field. Aoki, a long run to get over there. It's off the wall. Dickerson into second base. His 2nd hit of the game.
That was on that slider from Tony Sipp.
As you can see, 2nd in the American League with his 7th double. 2-out base runner. Peter Borges, who came on as a pinch hitter for Kevin Kiermaier, who's had to leave both games in this series. Left last night's game with an illness. I'm not sure if they announced anything on the reason he left tonight. Out of play, 0-1. Borges singled home 2 runs, hit a ground ball through the middle with the infield in. Big spot of the game, turned a 4-3 lead into a 6-3 lead. That's where we are now. Takes a pitch down low, 1-1. Tony Sipp trying to keep this at a 3-run game. Carlos Correa, Evan Gattis, Alex Bregman due up for the Astros in the top half of the 9th inning. Down low, 2-1. Astros need a rally if they're going to keep this road winning streak alive. Houston has won 5 in a row away from home, 2 in Seattle, 2 in Oakland in the first game here in the weekend series against the Rays. And now it's 2-2. Tampa Bay has been playing their best baseball at home this year.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup. Put a left-hander out there and in this ballpark. Stacked up against the Astros. We talked about their struggles against left-handed pitching. They do have a couple of bombs with Evan Gattis and Jose Altuve, but they only have 3 hits on the day. The other one was a bunt hit by Jake Marisnick. Nothing else to show for it.
It has been a little bit unusual. A couple of things this year with the offense. The fact that they haven't hit well at home, and the fact that they haven't really had a chance to do much damage against lefties. I mean, Blake Snell was good, but he walked 5. He gave them opportunities.
He most definitely did that. And it's interesting, only one of those walks made it to second base, where Altuve ended up scoring. I apologize. So 2 guys out of those 5 made it to second base or further.
On the ground foul. Coming into this game, Astros 9-1 against righties who started against them, 3-4 against lefties. The good news is they will not face another lefty on this road trip as a starter.
That is a good thing.
And they will not face a lefty at all tomorrow because the Rays don't have one in their bullpen.
There you go.
2-2 count to Borges. On the ground towards short. Correa makes the play in time to get the speedy Borges, and we head to the 9th inning with Houston trailing 6-3. Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. 9th inning baseball, Tampa Bay leading Houston 6-3. Astros have just 3 hits in the game. They will have their 4, 5, 6 hitters due up against the new pitcher for Tampa Bay, their closer, Alex Colomé.
Here's a good look at Alex Colomé. 6 games this season. He's 3 for 3 in the saves department. .500 opponent average in 2 games versus the Astros last season. Last time he was out there was on the 18th against Detroit. Went 1 inning, had 1 strikeout. Left-hand hitters hitting .200. Right-hand hitters are 0 for 8.
He has been outstanding since moving into the closer's role for the Rays last season. He was an all-star last year, didn't pitch in the game in San Diego. He was the Rays representative in the midst of a 37-save season. First batter he faces is Carlos Correa, who has flied out 3 times tonight. Carlos trying to get on the board for his first hit since coming back from that hand contusion after being hit by a pitch in Oakland. See that average down to 200 on the season. Astros need a couple of base runners to give themselves a shot, but going against a tough customer in Alex Colomé. One and one the count. Colomé's uncle was a teammate of yours and pitched for the Rays from 2001 through 2006. Jesus Colomé, also a right-handed reliever.
He was an entertaining guy. He was good to have on the team. He was one of the more positive guys out of that bullpen during a rough season for us in 2004.
Correa goes deep to right field, but Souza has a beat on it and makes the play on the track. Pretty well hit by Carlos Correa, but he's out for the 4th time today.
Evan Gattis coming to the plate. We're going to look at his forward spray chart. See the direction of those hits for Evan Gattis, and that includes that second inning home run in his first at bat, going the opposite field in right center field with that big bomb. But Evan Gattis is a guy who really tries to go up the middle the other way. See, get some mistakes, he'll pull them.
Gattis got the Astros on the board with the first run of this game. Houston led this game 2-0 and also led 3-2, but Tampa Bay has come back to lead at 6-3. Colomé with a strike to Gattis, 0-1. Rays had a difficult season last year, only winning 68 games. Biggest issue for them, or one of their big issues, was getting the ball from their starter to this guy, Alex Colomé. When they had a chance with a lead late, he got the job done. 37 saves of their 68 wins, but setting up for Colomé was an issue for Kevin Cash and former Astros pitching coach Jim Hickey, who's now been here at Tampa Bay for 10 seasons. 1-1 pitch, up high for a ball. It's 2-1.
Tell you what, Austin Pruitt didn't do a bad job at all.
He has a chance, does the Houston Cougar right there, of winning for the 2nd consecutive outing. Won his first major league game against the Tigers in the previous series to the Astros coming to town with 3 1/3 scoreless innings. And tonight all he did was warm up on the regular mound after the injury to Tommy Hunter and retire all 7 batters he faced.
No big deal. Spotlights on you.
Against the team that he loves. He got a beer shower after that first win. That's kind of the tradition here with the Rays.
Yep.
3-1 the count to Gattis. Line drive into center field. Borges is there. That's now 15 straight retired by Colomé. The last 15 batters he has faced, 2 tonight. 2 outs. Astros down to their final out. Alex Bregman trying to keep things alive for Houston. Astros were shut out in their first road game of the season. That was in Seattle. Mariners home opener. James Paxton and company in a 6-0 shutout. Astros have not lost a road game since then, having won 5 in a row. That last loss on the road came on April 10th. but in danger tonight, down 6-3. Been out hit 12-3. There's a base hit. Alex Bregman keeps things alive. Single into right field. Just the 4th hit for the Astros, and the first since a bunt single by Jake Marisnick back in the 5th.
Extend this game a little bit. Good job on that pitch down and in. Raking it the other way.
Let's see if Yuli Gurriel can keep this game going, bring the tying run to the plate. Josh Reddick has moved into the on-deck circle as a pinch hitter. On the ground, runner on the move. They'll have to make the play to first. Beckham to Morrison, and that'll do it. The Tampa Bay Rays win this game 6-3. And the University of Houston product, Austin Pruitt, picks up his 2nd major league win in a 4-run 6th inning come from behind victory for the Rays.
The player of the game is going to be brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's going to be Jose Altuve getting on the board this season with the long ball. Got a fastball middle in from Blake Snell and drove it into the left center field bleachers. Got him on the board. He also had a stolen base. The big play was here, taken off for third base, but on the heads-up play, watching Logan Morrison take his time to first base, speeds home and scores that 2nd run for the Houston Astros.
So these two teams have